Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and we have count it, two episodes of Daredevil Born Again. And I don't know why Marvel decided to do this. I don't know why Disney Plus decided to do this. I don't know if it's because maybe there are some people, not everyone, but some people complaining that there is a lack of Matt Murdock being Daredevil. He's obviously not wearing the costume. He's not going out there and fighting and being a vigilante for obvious reasons. His best friend was killed episode 1. And if there's anything that's going to stop Matt from being Daredevil and have to go through this self-crisis of whether or not he should still be doing that, it would be that event. So story-wise and character-wise, they did the right thing. But if there are people who are getting anxious, who are getting impatient, maybe they decided to give us 2 because by episode 6, we finally see Matt suit up. Now, before I get too far ahead... Oh, I'll help. Bitch, oh! I killed him after he killed me. Oh, he killed me? He threw a spear at me. Episode 5 is pretty much a standalone, one-off-ish episode. I'm not saying nothing from this episode will pan out to anything. I think the gang who go into the bank to rob it, they mention that they're working for somebody, that they have a boss. So that might be something down the line. They might be working for somebody that we are aware of, but we don't know who. That might be a reveal later, but as it stands, it felt like its own standalone episode. And it was kind of cool because not just having a bottle type feel being contained in one area, but I liked seeing Matt not in the costume, which is what we have been seeing, but just the idea that even as Matt Murdock, even as himself, he still finds himself compelled to help people that are in danger, right? He was already gone. He already had left the bank, which was a cool way to do it, to show that he didn't have to walk himself back in there. He put himself in that danger to sort of take care of the hostages and everyone around him. I would be remiss in not mentioning the character that was in this episode that worked at the bank. I'm talking about Kamala Khan's father. That was a pleasant surprise, even though I remember when the trailer came out and we saw him in the trailer, but I guess I forgot about it, or I wasn't really thinking too much of it. So to see how he played into it, it actually made a lot of sense. And I think if you're going to do cameos from characters in the MCU, not to say that you can't have a bigger character show up, or even a superhero-like character show up and interact with Matt Murdock, interact with Daredevil. That would be great. But if you're going to do a more low-key, a less in-your-face cameo, I think this is a great way to do it. It's a side character that can just play a role in one particular episode like this. I liked how he was talking to Matt earlier about his daughter, about Kamala Khan, and I like the situation. Now, maybe if they had only dropped this episode, episode 5, and this was the only episode, and they put it out there, as good as it was, there were, where I could obviously see people complain about this. People saying that, like, all right, God damn it, things are moving too slow, and this and that. I wouldn't have. I would have been like, oh, this was a solid episode. Cool, cool, cool. But I get it. I get if people would have been like, that's it? That's all we get? I think it was honestly enough to see Matt put on that red mask and go after the one dude who's the leader, but not like the boss, right? He's the leader who, sort of a smart way, reminded me of The Town, where he had a police disguise underneath his clothes, so when the police stormed in, he just went out the front door unnoticed, and Matt went after him, and when he jumps up to just cave in this guy's kneecap, fuck. That looked brutal as all hell. The big things that went down was episode 6. And I do, as much as I would not have complained if we just got 5, I am happy we got another episode because episode 6 forwarded the plot, forwarded the main story big time. Between Matt feeling guilty over the Angela character, Hector's niece, and how much she's impassioned over trying to get to the bottom of what Hector, her uncle, was doing. Also find it interesting that she mentions that Hector was maybe possibly looking into the serial killer Muse and how a lot of this is being untouched and left behind and like somebody needs to do something about it. And so this encourages Matt to finally costume up. Now, not just that conversation, but when her mother calls Matt and says that she's missing, she hasn't come home, and we see Muse has her in his underground where the trains are, and when he starts to drain her blood, I gotta admit, I was freaking out. I was. Not that I actually thought they were going to kill her, but then who knows? Everyone's talking about how this Angela character is going to grow up and become the next White Tiger, and I don't deny that. Yeah, I've seen the comic panels of that does happen, but who knows with this show? They killed Ben Urich in the first season of Daredevil. They don't have to exactly follow the comics beat for beat, so I was freaking out. I loved the shot of Muse looking out into the tracks, and he just kind of sees blurriness, but you hear Matt, Daredevil, running his ass off and just fucking taking it to him. The fight that they have was tremendous. I love seeing Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, back in costume. There was one moment too where he punches the fuck out of him, and then he just screams out. Like, that felt fucking good, you know? Like, yeah, as much as Matt tries to deny this from himself, as much as he was praying and just trying to stay out of giving in to that violent nature that Frank talked to him about, that even Kingpin Wilson talked to him about in the first episode, there is this side to Matt that does enjoy beating the fuck out of people who deserve it. Asshole people, and he was definitely in his mode here. I thought the fight was great. I was freaking out the whole time, yelling for Matt to get that tube, that blood-sucking tube, out of Angela. He is able to save her at the last second. Muse is able to escape. So this is a fucked up character, a fucked up serial killer from the comics. Reading up about him, I'm like, man, this is pretty heavy and dark stuff. And this episode did not shy away from some of the dark stuff that he is capable of. Those poor 2 girls who ran up on him, and admittedly they were stupid, asking him for like a picture and whatnot. But when you see the aftermath of what he did to those girls, and he removed their eyes and their blood was gone, like, what the fuck? The fact that Muse is still out there makes me very worried for certain other characters. I'm worried about Matt's girlfriend, I'm not gonna lie. Also, Kingpin, yes, Wilson Fisk, seeing him give in to his violent nature. I like how they splice together the two ends of the spectrum of Matt giving in to becoming Daredevil and Wilson giving back in to being Kingpin. And him, I don't think he killed Adam, right? But he sure beat the fuck out of him. I like the idea that he gave Adam an axe to make it more of a fair fight. And then he just, when he throws him up into the ceiling and then back onto the table and just smashes him with the classic Kingpin move, I want to see more of Vincent D'Onofrio just overpowering and destroying people with his bare hands. It's such good shit. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of these count it, two episodes of Daredevil Born Again. I am having a blast. I am dreading this show being over, at least for the time being. We have a few more episodes left, though. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.